What's up, guys? I'm gonna touch on a subject that it's a very large topic on the internet. A lot of people ask this question. It's, what should I pick for my first handgun? I don't think there's a definite answer for this, but there's a lot of people who's got different opinions. I myself have trained a lot of people on how to shoot handguns. Pretty much everybody that's younger than me in my family, I was the first person to teach them how to shoot handguns. I've taught people double my age. My dad, he instructed youths on how to shoot handguns. Um, I was around for some of that, and I just grew up very safety conscious. And anyway, both these handguns have been safety checked. They was loaded in my gun safe. Um, but there's, you can see they're unloaded. Um, anyway, alright, we're going to start on the 1911 or 1911 type pistols. Pretty much I consider that anything with a safety on it. They all pretty much work the same way, except for, some nitpicks here and there. But I think that's one of the worst guns to start off with. I have showed people that their first gun was the 1911. I taught them how to shoot it. They're still safe. They learned on it. But I definitely would highly not recommend this gun unless you was going to buy the gun and go straight to training on it. The main reason I say for that is the thumb safety. You're not going to be as familiar with the gun, therefore you're not going to be as what's the word, confident with the gun. So when you go to pull it out, you'll be finicky a little bit more, especially if you have to use it. And the main problem with that is, if the thumb safety's on, you bring it up to defend your life. I'll show y'all its safety check. Nothing in there. It's empty. But anyway, you bring it up to defend your life. The safety's on. Nothing. Or worst case scenario, you're trying to figure out the gun and you depend too much on safety. Now, safeties are there for precaution. You're never really supposed to depend your life on them. Like me, even if I had one in the chamber, I would never, anything I didn't want to. Maybe if I was outside just testing the gun where it could hit a target that I was planning on shooting, but it's just a precaution. It's not meant to be, used as 100% sure thing. So that's kind of why I deter people away from that, because without training that could become a problem. Alright, this is a Smith & Wesson MNP 40. It's pretty much the same style. It's got the same trigger thing as a Glock or Springfield XD or XDM. This one does have a thumb safety, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to use this as kind of like a Glock reference or Springfield. A lot of people will say, can't speak right now. Get a gun something like this. I tend to disagree with that. I think besides the safety, a gun like this requires more confidence in the most part for a person starting off shooting, because there's just a level of respect you have to give these type of guns, because for knowing if they're loaded or unloaded. I recommend, if you get a gun like this, to either keep it loaded at all times or unloaded. I think a gun like this, is more for a person that's been used to rifles. At least, someone that's got a pretty good sense of guns, just maybe not ever owned one. But if I had to recommend a pistol to someone that I didn't know what the background was with it, they really don't know much about guns, I'm going to recommend a Revolver. My mother was talking about getting a gun. That's the gun I recommended to her. Pretty much anybody that wants to get a gun, unless they're dead set on a semi-automatic. If you're dead set on a semi-automatic, I would recommend more of like a MNP or a Glock, something where you don't have to worry about a safety too much. I recently sold one of my pistols to one of my neighbors, and he doesn't have much experience. He's pretty safety conscious. You know, he's a firefighter. He knows his stuff. He's got a clear head on his shoulder. I recommended him a revolver for a first handgun, but he wanted a semi-automatic. You know, I told him I took him to a couple gun places. He looked at a few, and I told him I had a gun that I was thinking about selling, and I sold him that gun. But he shot it out here plenty of times. I went over and over the safeties, you know, everything like that. Blah blah blah. He's good with it. He's gotten into guns. But like I said, if you're going into something like this and you don't have someone to teach you about the guns and with safety issues, at least take a class. It's worth it for your life and others' lives, you know, everything like that. It's for safety. It's all around safety. But one reason why I recommend a revolver is it's simple. You leave it loaded, put it in a holster or whatever in a safe, on the nightstand. You treat it like it is, you know. You don't have to worry about, is there one in the chamber, is there not one in the chamber. You know, it's just simple. You pull it up, you don't have to cock the hammer back, you don't have to worry about decocking it or nothing. You pull the trigger. I haven't already showed you this one, safety checked. There's the magazine and everything there. But you pull the trigger and it goes bang. Now, another thing you might hear, Glocks or Smith & Wessons or XDs, they all have a safety. Although their trigger system's a little different, this has a jointed trigger. It's the same issue. You know, always safety check your guns. But, for instance, if I push on this top, it's not going to go off. But if I push on this bottom and it actuates this jointed trigger, it'll go off. This isn't a safety. Anything that is on the trigger that's the actual thing that fires the gun, presses the trigger, is not a safety. And if you're going to consider that a safety, you might as well not even have one. And I don't think there's ever been a circumstance where that has actually kept the gun from going off negligently. But it does work as a drop safety. It's a very good drop safety. But other than that, don't let no one tell you that Glocks have a safety. It's bullshit. They have a drop safety, and it's on the trigger. But another thing that you need to learn about a first firearm is caliber. A lot of people might want to go out and get a 44 Magnum or 357, something they've seen on TV. I wouldn't suggest that, especially if you haven't had a lot of firearms training, because yes, it might make you more gun shy if you don't know if you're recoil sensitive to firearms yet, maybe. But 38 Special is a great start off caliber for a revolver. 9mm is a great start off caliber if you go with that. 40 and 45 also great start off calibers. If you're a female, maybe not. Depends on, you know, you and your frame, but I don't really see why anybody could have a hard time shooting a 40 or a 45, as long as it's not a super compact pistol. If it's these two right here, babies to shoot. I mean, they recoil a little bit, you know, more than a 9, but not much. This has got a lot of weight, and this is just feels good in the hand, and you can kind of change your comfort level because of the grip options. So for recoil, generally the heavier a gun, the less recoil it's going to have, because the weight is going to soak up so much of the energy. Another thing you need to think about is size. Are you going to put it in your purse? Are you going to buy in the waistband? Depends on how you're going to carry, how big a gun you're going to want. Generally, if you're looking for a snub nose or a pocket pistol, I would definitely wouldn't go for 40 calibers and stuff like that. I would try to stay in the 9mm, 38 Special, stuff like that. Because the smaller the gun, the less kick it's going to have. And plus, those smaller 9mm, another reason why it's good to have is the ammo so much cheaper. You can spend more time getting more proficient with the gun. And I definitely wouldn't cheap out on a first handgun. Glocks, M&Ps, Springfields, they're all about $500, and $500 in all honesty, you know, I have plenty of firearms, but you can do good with just one firearm if it's reliable. So instead of having 5 crappy firearms, it's better off to have one good one reliable, and one with a warranty. So if something is, you do get it from the factory has a problem, they'll be glad to fix it. Alright guys, thanks for watching.